been drama, Arab drama, mto drama, Nyar drama, Asi drama, zote pamoja. Yeah. Folks, when you hear people saying, even with all the challenges in the country and the hardships, when you still hear them saying, Kenya sihami, this is what they usually mean. The drama. Yeah. Now sample the following. The clergy have reported their frustrations from both sides of the political divide in mending the rift between the president and his deputy. The tone of their voices suggests that they're just about to give up. And the clergy are telling us that both the president and the deputy president are not interested in mending fences. That's what they're telling us in clear language. Now, the information I'd already received indicated to me that actually State House were going to reach out to the clergy, to set this thing in motion. And they're going to do that very soon. And then this morning, I come across some explosive related information. You know, the Hustler Nation have what they call an intelligence bureau. In the recent past, they have leaked out information that has ended up panning out. But my advice to all of you before we continue, be careful. Be extremely careful about this intelligence information from one side of the political divide. Why am I saying that? Basics of human nature. If you want to lie to somebody, indeed if you want to con somebody, what do? You start by doing things that pan out. You do this, you tell them this is going to happen. It actually comes to pass. You do another one, it comes to pass. And then you throw in your lie, or you throw in your con. It will work 100%. I think now you get me. Anyway, let's proceed. This Hustler Nation Intelligence Bureau, in a long release, somewhere deep in that particular release, confirmed the information I had, only that they added something. According to this information, the president is going to reach out to the clergy, but then refer them to the DCI, Directorate of Criminal Investigation, and the National Intelligence Service. For what purpose? For them to release a dossier of highly classified information that will make it very clear to the clergy how this whole thing started in the first place. The real reason why the president fell out with his deputy. I need to drink water. Now, the super interesting thing here is that this information is coming out from the hustler nation. And in case you missed it, this is what's happening here. The hustler nation are directing this information at the other side of the political divide. And what they're saying is that, yes, we are aware that you want to release that dossier, but we are going to respond to the release of that dossier. Just read through those notes. I believe they're on your screens right now. That should be very clear. Now, of course, the first question anybody would want to ask is, what is in that dossier? What kind of information is there that is classified, which means cannot be made public? Well, we know one thing. It'll be damaging, or rather that information is damaging to the Deputy President and the hustler nation. And that is why there'll be a need for them to respond. Those of us who are old enough in 2017, during those very contentious presidential campaigns leading to the elections, will remember what NASA used to tell people. Raila side. Let me just remind you. Wakihesabu, tutahesabu. Wakiapisha, tutaapisha. Remember that? Which means that in the present case, wakitoa dossier, tutatoa dossier. Wah. This is serious. Folks, this is extremely serious. Now, if you don't believe me, let me just summarize it for you. Both sides cannot be able to sit down and agree to a ceasefire. Neither of the sides is prepared to give a single inch of ground, to repair the situation, to lead to a ceasefire between the president and his deputy. Both sides have dossiers. So how will this end? Because everything that has a beginning has an end. So how is this one going to end? Especially for the long-suffering people of Kenya. Because the impact of such things, make no mistake, the brunt of the impact and the explosion and the implosion of all this will affect ordinary Kenyans most. Not even the two sides at the top. No. It is always the ordinary person who is left holding the burning consequences. In 2007, President Emilio Stanley Mwai Kibaki decided to fiddle with an election. ODM principals at the time, William Samoei Ruto and Raila Odinga, responded. But nothing happened to watu wakubwa. Nothing. The people who suffered were ordinary Kenyans. The people who are left with scars, some of which will never heal, were ordinary Kenyans. And if nothing happens, if Almighty God does not intervene, it is quite likely that even this will end in the same way, with dire consequences. Maybe different from those of 2007, but still dire consequences to the ordinary Kenyan. The big people, both the so-called dynasties and both the so-called chief hustlers, will not be affected. It will not reach them. Only ordinary Kenyans will suffer the most. That is the reality. And that is why I keep on telling you on this channel, politicians are not your friends. even that politician you love with all your heart is not your friend. When will people get that? Folks, it is you and I. And even as we continue insulting each other, on behalf of politicians we have never met, but we love with all our hearts, at the end of the day, it is me and you, on both sides of the political divide, on either side of the political divide, who will bear the brunt of whatever happens or whatever the consequences are when this thing ends. Because ending, it has to end at some point. Maze, fellow Kenyan, wake up. Amka bwana, kwa hiyo usingizi yako nzito. Wake up and smell the coffee before it is too late. Now, based on the information I have always had and the information I now have, I have a fairly good idea of what is in that dossier. Maybe not the details, but the big picture. And I think I have a little information, at least some information, of what may be in the response of the Hustler Nation in this matter. That means information they have on the other side. But I have some advice for the Hustler Nation. Unsolicited, of course. They have not asked me for it. But I still need to tell them, because I am hoping that it will help them to wake up. Because I believe sometimes it is also human nature that you can be so engrossed in something, so full of yourself when you're engrossed in something, that you completely miss something very important, that is the big picture. You know, President Uhuru Kenyatta is not going to be a candidate on the ballot in the year 2022, as far as I know. After August 2022, the president will be an ordinary Kenyan. A previous president, a past president, but an ordinary Kenyan. However, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto is hoping to be on the ballot in 2022, August 2022. What that means is that maybe somebody should stop and pause and analyze the impact of whatever information that is going to be released to both sides. To Tim Keleweke, unless he has some information on Raila Odinga, or Musalia Mudavadi, or Kalonzo Musyoka, any information on any other individuals, especially individuals who are going into retirement, may not have the desired impact. As much as it may shock us, as much as it may shame some people, it has zero impact on the future of Kenya. Yes, history is important, but I think you get my drift. What we are really concerned about here is the future. After 2022, who is going to lead us? What kind of character will the individual who is going to be the next president of Kenya have? In my view, that is what makes this whole thing very one-sided. And yet one of the sides cannot see yet how one-sided it is. Because one side has got much less to lose than the other side. And that has to be the truth. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.